If you're over 60, this one everyday snack could silently raise your risk of a stroke while you sleep. No warning, no pain. One moment you're fine, and the next you can't lift your arm, your speech is slurred, or your balance is gone. As a brain doctor, I've seen this terrifying moment happen to far too many older adults, not because of smoking, poor diet, or lack of exercise, but because of something they thought was safe, even healthy. Nuts. Yes, really, nuts. Millions of seniors snack on almonds, cashews, pistachios, macadamias, or peanut butter thinking they're doing something good for their heart, their memory, or their cholesterol. But what they don't realize is that some nuts, eaten at the wrong time, in the wrong form, or in the wrong amount, can silently damage aging blood vessels, spike blood pressure, or trigger brain bleeds, especially during the night when your brain is most vulnerable. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 popular nuts that could be quietly increasing your stroke risk. If you or someone you love snacks on nuts regularly, this might be the most important video you watch all year. Let's start with the one most people think is the healthiest: almonds. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Almonds. Healthy for the heart, but a hidden risk for the brain. It's hard to believe, isn't it, that a handful of almonds, the very snack praised by doctors, nutritionists, and fitness gurus alike, could be the quiet trigger behind a life-altering stroke in the middle of the night. Yet I've seen it happen. Not once, not rarely, far too often. As a brain doctor, I've treated patients who did everything right on the surface, but paid a heavy price for a habit they thought was healthy. Let me tell you about Mr. Gerald Thompson, a 7-year-old retired firefighter from Ohio. Strong, disciplined, proud. Every night before bed, he'd sit in his recliner, read the paper, and eat a small bowl of almonds, about a cup's worth. Almonds are heart healthy, he told me proudly the first time I met him. And they are. But in the wrong amount, at the wrong time, especially in older adults, they can quietly become dangerous. Here's what most people don't know. Almonds are extremely high in oxalates, compounds that, when consumed in excess, can bind to calcium in the bloodstream and lead to vascular calcification. That means the arteries, especially those in the brain, become less flexible, more narrow, and more prone to clotting. In younger adults, the body can handle this better. But in seniors, with naturally aging arteries and often mild dehydration during the night, this combination can set the stage for a stroke, often while you sleep. Mr. Thompson didn't feel a thing. He went to bed just like every other night, but around 5:30 a.m., his wife found him slurring his words, unable to lift his left arm. The scan confirmed it: an ischemic stroke, no signs of clogged arteries from diet, no diabetes, no smoking history, just years of silent buildup from nightly almond consumption. An innocent habit turned fatal. When we reviewed his blood work, he had elevated oxalate and calcium levels. His arteries were stiff, blood pressure erratic. All of it was consistent with chronic dietary oxalate load, something most older adults are never warned about. And the worst part? Almonds don't taste dangerous. They taste safe, familiar, comforting. But for seniors, more is not better. Your kidneys don't flush out oxalates as efficiently as they did in your 30s or 40s. Your arteries don't bounce back like they used to. One healthy choice, made daily without warning, can turn into a neurological catastrophe. Mr. Thompson is now in a wheelchair. He can't drive. He needs help dressing. I thought I was being smart, he told me, eyes watering. I didn't know a snack could take away my independence. That's the cruel reality. When it comes to the aging brain, even the most innocent foods can quietly turn dangerous if you don't know how they behave in your body. So the next time you reach for almonds, especially at night, ask yourself, is this helping my brain or am I unknowingly gambling with it? And if almonds surprised you, just wait until you hear about the nut that looks harmless, but can actually send your blood pressure surging while you sleep. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Cashews, packed with magnesium, but a hidden threat for high blood pressure. Cashews, buttery, creamy, satisfying. They're the go-to snack for many older adults trying to eat clean and avoid processed junk. After all, they're full of healthy fats and magnesium, right? That's what every magazine, TV health segment, and supplement label says. But here's the truth. No one tells seniors. For those with high blood pressure or heart issues, cashews can quietly push your blood pressure into the danger zone, especially at night. Let me tell you about Mrs. Linda Carver, a sweet, sharp 80-year-old retired librarian from Pennsylvania. Every evening around 9 p.m., she'd enjoy a small bowl of roasted salted cashews while watching her favorite game shows. It was part of her routine, a little comfort before bed. She took pride in keeping active, taking her medications on time, and avoiding sweets. But one morning, she woke up dizzy, disoriented, and her heart was racing. She nearly collapsed walking to the kitchen. Her blood pressure? Sky high, 192/106. In the ER, scans showed no bleeding or clot, but her pressure was dangerously unstable. She hadn't missed a single dose of medication. What changed? Her cashews, the kind she'd been buying, like most store-bought nuts, were heavily salted. Just one handful had over 180 milligallons of sodium, and she'd been eating 2 or 3 handfuls every night without realizing it. What older adults need to understand is this. Your body doesn't process sodium the same way after 60. Your kidneys slow down. Your blood vessels become more sensitive. Even a moderate amount of extra salt, especially in the evening, can cause nighttime blood pressure spikes. And when blood pressure surges during sleep, your brain is in danger. The risk of a hemorrhagic stroke, where a weakened vessel bursts in the brain, goes up significantly. Mrs. Carver was lucky. She didn't have a stroke that night, but she now lives with chronic dizziness, has fallen twice, and no longer sleeps alone without monitoring. She looked me in the eye and said something I'll never forget. I never thought a few cashews would end my independence. That's the cost. Not just your blood pressure, but your balance, your confidence, your ability to live alone. The risk is silent until it isn't. So before you reach for that salty evening snack, ask yourself, is it worth the risk? You may be feeding your cravings, but you could be starving your brain of safety. And if you think salty cashews are bad, just wait until you learn what one luxury nut can do to your cholesterol and stroke risk without a single warning sign. 3. Macadamia nuts, heart-healthy fat that could be harming your brain. Macadamia nuts are often seen as the gold standard of healthy snacking. Rich, creamy, full of good fats. They show up in heart-healthy gift baskets, gourmet trail mixes, and even doctor-recommended Mediterranean diets. But here's what you may not realize. For older adults, macadamia nuts, when eaten regularly and without limits, can slowly elevate cholesterol, harden arteries, and increase the risk of stroke, especially during sleep. The damage builds silently, and by the time symptoms show, it's often too late. I remember a patient, Mr. James Hollis, 81, a retired postal worker from Arizona. Every morning and night, he enjoyed a spoonful of macadamia nuts alongside his coffee and evening tea. "They're good for my heart," he told me. And he wasn't wrong. In moderation, they can be. But when I met him, he had just survived a transient ischemic attack, a mini stroke, slurred speech, sudden weakness. He brushed it off as just getting older. But the scan showed otherwise. Cholesterol plaque buildup and arterial stiffness, particularly in the small vessels feeding his brain. Here's the danger most seniors don't know. Macadamia nuts are extremely high in monounsaturated fats, which can be healthy, but not when consumed in large quantities without balancing fiber or omega-3s. Worse, for those already on cholesterol medication, macadamias can mask rising LDL levels, allowing the damage to continue unchecked. And unlike some other fats, the type in macadamia nuts is calorie dense and can quickly add up. Just 10 nuts pack nearly 200 calories and 20 grams of fat. For seniors, the risk is multiplied. Your metabolism slows with age. Your liver doesn't regulate fat as efficiently. Your blood vessels are already aging. When those vessels harden or narrow from plaque, a small clot is all it takes to block blood flow to the brain. And that's when the nightmare begins. Slurred speech, vision loss, paralysis, or worse. Many never fully recover. Mr. Hollis now walks with a cane. He stopped driving. He needs help with basic tasks. "I thought I was being smart," he told me, shaking his head. "I didn't know something so fancy could steal my freedom." That's the thing about stroke risks at this age. They don't always come from bad habits. Sometimes they come from good habits done wrong, from eating too much of what we're told is healthy without realizing the cost. So the next time you scoop out a handful of macadamias, pause and think, is this indulgence worth risking my independence? And if you think macadamias are risky, wait until you hear what one common green nut, the kind you find in snack packs and airport lounges, could be doing to your brain pressure without you feeling a thing. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Pistachios, small, green, and silently raising your blood pressure. They look harmless. Pistachios. Those cheerful little green nuts you find in trail mixes, on airplane snacks, or in decorative bowls during holidays. They're marketed as healthy, heart smart, and full of antioxidants. And in their raw, unsalted form, that's mostly true. But for seniors, the danger doesn't lie in the pistachio itself. It's what's added to it. And when you eat it, that could quietly be putting your brain at serious risk. Let me tell you about Mrs. Gloria Westbrook, age 85, a retired school teacher from Michigan. Every evening, while watching the news and winding down for bed, she'd snack on a small handful of roasted pistachios, her favorite treat. "They're better than chips," she used to say. But what she didn't realize was that her nightly snack was packing over 200 milligrams of sodium per serving, sometimes more. For a younger adult, the body might recover overnight. But for an older adult like Gloria, this sodium load, especially late in the evening, had a very different effect. One morning, she collapsed in the hallway, dizzy, confused, unable to walk straight. Her blood pressure had spiked to 198/112. In the ER, they suspected a stroke, but scans showed no bleeding or clot yet. What they did find was chronic vascular stress, stiffened arteries, mild swelling in the brain, and signs of dangerously unstable blood pressure during the night. The culprit? Her blood pressure meds were doing their job during the day, but the sodium in those pistachios was reversing their effect overnight. Here's the terrifying part. Most roasted pistachios sold in stores, even ones labeled lightly salted, contain enough sodium to completely counteract your blood pressure medication if eaten before bed. And that surge in pressure doesn't wake you up. It happens silently while your brain is in its most vulnerable state. That's when small vessels can rupture. That's when a hemorrhagic stroke strikes. No warning, no second chance. Gloria survived that collapse, but now she uses a walker and needs part-time home care. Her independence is gone. I just wanted something to crunch on before bed, she told me with tears in her eyes. I didn't know it would cost me my balance, my strength, my freedom. That's the real danger. It's not always the things we fear that hurt us. It's the things we trust, the habits we repeat, the snacks we assume are safe, that end up doing the most harm when no one is watching. So if you've been reaching for pistachios at night, stop and ask, are they really worth gambling with your brain? And if you thought pistachios were risky, wait until you learn what one creamy, comforting nut butter sitting quietly in your pantry could be doing to your blood vessels every single night. 5. Peanut butter. Smooth, comforting, and quietly damaging your blood vessels. There's something deeply comforting about peanut butter. It's creamy, familiar, and for many older adults, it feels like a safe, soft, protein-packed option, especially when chewing gets harder or appetite fades. A spoonful before bed, a smear on toast, a quick energy boost. It seems harmless. But what if I told you that for seniors, especially those with heart conditions or blood pressure issues, peanut butter can quietly become one of the most dangerous things in your kitchen? Let me share the story of Mr. Don Willis, a 79-year-old Vietnam veteran from Kentucky. He lived alone, prided himself on being independent, and tried his best to eat healthy. Every night, he'd fix himself a light dinner, a banana, a slice of wheat bread, and a generous spread of peanut butter. He thought he was doing everything right, but over the course of several months, his energy began fading. He woke up lightheaded. He noticed swelling in his ankles. One night, he lost his balance getting out of bed and hit his head on the dresser. At the hospital, we found dangerously high blood pressure and early signs of atherosclerosis, stiff, inflamed arteries. What shocked Don the most? His blood work showed rising LDL cholesterol levels despite being on statins. The peanut butter he'd been eating daily, a popular store brand labeled natural, was loaded with added sugars, hydrogenated oils, and hidden sodium. Just 2 tablespoons had more than 190 milliliters of sodium, processed fats that inflame arteries, and sweeteners that spike blood sugar, especially harmful late at night when metabolism slows and blood vessels are most vulnerable. For older adults, especially those over 70, these processed ingredients build up over time. Your body doesn't clear them as efficiently. Blood vessels lose elasticity. Inflammation rises. The lining of your arteries, they called the endothelium, becomes more fragile. All of this creates a perfect storm for a stroke, heart attack, or vascular dementia. Don now has a home nurse 3 days a week. He uses a walker. He told me quietly one afternoon, "Doc, it was just peanut butter. I didn't know it was slowly breaking me down." That's the cruel truth. What feels like comfort food can, over time, become a silent destroyer, especially when eaten routinely without checking the label. It's not just what you eat, it's how much, how often, and how your aging body reacts to it that matters now more than ever. So the next time you reach for that jar, ask yourself, is this really fuel, or is it quietly becoming a threat? And if you've started to question what's truly safe, you're not alone. The better question now is, if these nuts carry so much risk, what should you eat instead? Let's talk about real foods that protect your brain, not just fill your plate. 6. So what should you eat instead of these nuts? After everything I've shared, you might be feeling uneasy. even betrayed. How could something as natural and innocent as nuts become a threat to your brain and independence? I understand that feeling deeply. Many of my older patients have felt the same way. People who tried to make healthy choices, but were never told how drastically the aging body changes the rules. Your kidneys, liver, arteries, and blood pressure don't behave the same way at 75 as they did at 45. That's why the food that once nourished you can now quietly chip away at your health. That brings me to the most important question. What should you eat instead? What can truly support your brain, your blood vessels, and your long-term independence without risking a stroke while you sleep? Let me tell you about Mrs. Margaret Lane, a 73-year-old retired nurse from Minnesota. She came to me confused, fatigued, and frustrated. She had been taking a handful of supplements and snacking on mixed nuts twice a day, thinking she was protecting her brain and heart, but her blood pressure was unstable. Her balance had worsened. Her memory was slipping. I feel like I'm doing everything they say I should, she told me, but I'm falling apart. So we did something radical. We stripped it all back to real food. No pills, no processed nut blends, no powdered brain boosters, just simple, whole natural food at the right time, in the right combinations. We started her mornings with a soft-boiled egg, a clean source of protein and choline for memory. Half an avocado, rich in potassium and healthy fat to support vessel health. One slice of whole grain toast for steady, gentle energy release. A small handful of unsalted walnuts or ground flaxseed, high in omega-3s and fiber, gentle on the arteries. A glass of room temperature water to support hydration and circulation. Lunches were light but nourishing. Soups with leafy greens, beans, lentils, or salmon salad. Dinners were early, often including sweet potatoes, roasted vegetables, and grilled chicken or trout. She added a few berries throughout the day for their antioxidant benefits and avoided eating anything heavy after 7 p.m. And within weeks, something changed. Her blood pressure reading stabilized. Her dizziness disappeared. Her energy returned. She looked at me and said, "I don't just feel better. I feel clear again." That's the power of food when used wisely, not as a drug, not as a shortcut, but as real, healing nourishment that your aging brain understands. If you take away one message today, let it be this. Your body isn't failing you. It's asking you to listen. You don't need extreme diets or expensive supplements. You need balance, simplicity, and awareness of how every bite impacts your brain, your blood vessels, and your future. And now that you know what to eat, let me leave you with one final message. Because what truly protects you as you age is not what you put on your plate, but what you understand before you do. So stay with me. Because in our final moment together, I want to give you the single most powerful mindset shift that could help you outsmart stroke, reclaim your energy, and stay in control of your health, no matter your age. Final wake-up call. Your brain is listening to every bite. At this stage in life, every decision you make carries more weight, especially when it comes to your health. The truth is, your brain is not just affected by what you do or don't do. It's shaped, protected, or harmed by what you eat every single day. For decades, we've been told that nuts, supplements, and natural snacks are the golden key to longevity. And yes, some of them can help in the right amounts, at the right time, under the right conditions. But as we grow older, the rules change. Your body processes sodium differently. Your arteries lose flexibility. Your kidneys slow down. What used to be safe at 40 may be dangerous at 75. That's not fear. That's biology. The 5 nuts we've discussed, almonds, cashews, macadamias, pistachios, and peanut butter are not inherently evil. But when used the wrong way, especially late at night or in large quantities, they can quietly set the stage for stroke, brain bleeds, nerve damage, or memory loss. And the scariest part, most of the warning signs whisper, not scream. You feel a little dizzy, a little foggy, a little off, until one night, everything changes. I've seen too many patients lose their speech, their balance, or even their independence, not from smoking or fast food, but from the very things they thought were healthy. But here's the good news. Awareness is medicine. You can still protect your brain. You can eat in a way that nourishes without harming. You can build habits that support your mind, heart, and independence without the guesswork. You are not too old. You are not too late, but you do need to act. So as you go back to your kitchen today, pause before you reach for that familiar jar or bag. Read the label. Listen to your body. And most importantly, ask yourself, is this feeding my brain or is it slowly stealing it from me? These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.